Nate Prater here, agronomist for Golden Harvest Seeds, Southern Illinois and Southern Indiana. And we all know how 2019 wasn't the best growing conditions, not only in the spring but also in the fall. And here you can see some of the remnants of the 2019 harvest season in this field this spring for 2020. It was wet when this field was harvested last fall. It was late in the year, and obviously there are some ruts in this field. How do we deal with these ruts, and what effect will they have on the 2020 crop? This field here is planning on going to corn. It was soybeans last year. And what can be done? Now, in a perfect scenario, last year after harvest was finished, if we were to come in here with a disc chisel or some type of chisel plow to loosen the soil below the level of the rut, it would have been the best case scenario. But right now we don't have that option. It's wet this spring. We're going to try to get in here as soon as we can, but what effects will that have on this year's crop? And as you look at these ruts, they're about 6-7 inches deep. They were probably deeper than that, but it's mellowed a little bit over the winter. So what can we do? When we come in here with a field cultivator, a disc, or a high-speed vertical tillage tool, we're going to make it look good on top. It's going to drag the soil, loose soil, and fill in these ruts, but you're still going to have that compaction layer underneath. What effect is that going to have on the crop? Well, in corn, for example, you're probably not going to see anything early. You probably won't see any effects to the crop until probably that V5 stage, V4, V5 stage, when it's going from, adolescent years, what I like to call adolescent stage, into a, hey, we're throwing vegetative growth on, we're trying to set our ear size, it's really needing nutrients, and those roots are trying to grow down and get into the moisture. That's when we'll start to see the effects of these ruts. Won't be across the whole field because the ruts aren't across the whole field, but you can see rows being affected, individual plants being affected. You will see that. And I ask that if you have ruts in your field, take note where they're at, and know that if an issue shows up this spring or this summer, halfway through the growing season, of why is the corn a different color there, or why is it a little shorter, go back and remember, hey, we had some ruts there that we didn't take care of. Now, can we still take care of them? Yes, if you wanted to come out here and do a little deep tillage, if the spring allowed it, that would definitely help. But if we can't, we want to make the soil surface as even as possible, plant our corn realizing that there could be some issues in this row. It could be stunted, the roots just aren't going to develop. They're going to hit this hard pan where the tire track was and not be able to penetrate through it. They're going to have to, it'll spread out and it won't be able to penetrate down into the moisture. If it gets dry, it could be even worse. And that could lead to standability issues late, lack of nutrients, showing nutrient deficiency. May not be a deficient area, but the roots just can't get to it. After corn harvest this fall, a great scenario would be to come in here with a disc chisel and tear this ground up deeper than 6-8 inches to alleviate, so we don't have to worry about it for soybeans. Now, if you have ruts and compaction going into soybeans, soybeans do adjust a little bit more. They have more of a penetrating root. But I have seen in certain circumstances where that root will try to hit the bottom of this rut or a compacted area and grow sideways. So you can still see issues in soybeans, but again, we won't see these symptoms until probably mid-year when things are getting into that high vegetative growth stage and it's needing more nutrients and moisture. So if you've got ruts in your field and you can't take care of them this spring, make the soil surface as good as possible, as even as possible, but realize where those spots are in your fields and take note. That way, if issues show up later in the year, we know why, and we don't have to ask as many questions and try to figure things out late in the year. So have a safe spring. Again, I'm Nate Prater, Golden Harvest agronomist for Southern Illinois and Indiana. Have a good day.